Our video this week is about housing and homelessness, as it is one of the fundamental pillars of our campaign. It's important that everyone has a home. That should be our priority, that everyone has a key, a place that they can call home that is stable and that is affordable. In this city, I'm the chair of Ottawa Community Housing. We are the largest landlord in our city with 32,000 residents and 15,000 units. It's important for us to have good quality housing stock, continue to grow our portfolio as we know the needs continue to grow. Beyond continuing to offer affordable housing and supporting our non-for-profit housing sector, that it be a co-op, that it be the non-for-profit or Ottawa Community Housing, what's also important is making sure that residents who are in very vulnerable position in our shelters are housed quickly, within 90 days, that they have a key to their home, to a unit for their families, for themselves. And we also have to pilot projects for our First Nation and Inuit community here in Ottawa. That is our top priority. In a few seconds, we'll be talking to one of the national researchers on the homelessness and housing field, Tim Aubry.
My name's Tim Aubry. I'm a professor in the School of Psychology at the University of Ottawa, and my areas of research are community mental health and homelessness.
So Tim, we've done video blogs in the past talking about the importance of investing in housing and some of the new models, some of your research. Remind us, why don't we want people to stay in our shelters, and why should we stop spending money in our shelters?
Well, in simple terms, they don't have to spend much time in shelters. We now have the means to get people out quickly into housing and support them to stay in housing. And this is in regular housing. There's two keys to it. One is we need affordable housing. And secondly, we need to scale up housing first.
And you're not the only researchers saying this, right? Tell us about some of the research behind these findings.
No, there's researchers across the country are saying this. The people who work in homelessness. It's a cornerstone of the Canadian Alliance to End Homelessness, the work they're doing in terms of training and technical support. It comes on the heels of a very large study, in fact the largest study of its kind in the world, on housing first, tested in 5 cities. Remarkable findings that showed that the majority of people with serious mental illness, often with addictions, can exit homelessness for good.
You need a key to a home and attached services.
Absolutely. You need a key to a home, and that's facilitated with a rent supplement. And you support people so that you address their needs. And it's support that comes to them in the community. And it's in the context of regular housing. It can be private market housing or social housing.
One of the unfortunate submissions of the last term has been the Salvation Army proposal at 333 Montreal Road.
Yeah, and Matt, I know you and I've had multiple discussions about this new shelter that's being planned. You've been a leader against that proposal. I fear that if it goes up forward, it's going to put us back
absolutely
by 20 or 30 years in terms of combating homelessness in the city.
So let's talk about what we can do in this time with this situation. We have an organization that's willing to spend about $50 million in the city. Where could they spend the $50 million to do it better?
Look, we'll still need shelter beds. That's not the issue. The issue, though, is spending significant amounts of money, both capital money and operating money, on services that are delivered in the shelters rather than moving people into the community. That's the old model. That's a model that cities are no longer putting in place. So what we need to do, and I think what the Salvation Army could do, because it already does some housing first, is it needs to go with a much, much smaller shelter with just emergency beds, not long-term care beds, and grow its housing first services that can be delivered out of the shelter. This is going on in other cities where shelters have grown housing first, and they're moving people as quickly as they come in.
So there are solutions. We can implement it here in Ottawa. It means dollars. It also means not replicating the old models.
Absolutely. And you got to move the money over into the new models. This is what's important.
Housing is a human right Thank you to the federal government for now having a national housing strategy. This will help us locally innovate and better coordinate the sector. What we want is to ensure that everyone has a key to their home. We're opposed to the 333 Montreal Road proposal from the Salvation Army on the basis of the model. The model has not worked in the Byward market. What we need is housing. We need folks to have a key to their home with the services that are needed, mental health, addictions. We can do better. We need to invest heavily into new housing, housing first, housing subsidies, and building new units. Work with us, get informed on ways that we can do better in the city. And our commitment to you is that we are going to invest more dollars into new units and new subsidies in supporting Housing First.